Every story has an ending. Does our quest to play the top 100 courses in 10 years have a good ending? I'm Nish.
I'm Chris.
And we're here to guide you through this golfing journey. This is the Top 110 Golf Podcast. Episode 37. Our Open and The Open, the West Lancs Golf Club Review. So Chris, we just got back from playing our first Open competition.
We have, yeah.
How did we feel about it?
It wasn't the greatest day on the links for any of our team, I don't think, was it, to be fair?
No one played well.
No, I mean, I think that's a fairly large understatement. It was pretty atrocious golf, I think, from everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think everyone had like 2 or 3 holes where they played all right, but then beyond that, there was a lot of rubbish, wasn't there?
And we were so excited.
We were too excited.
Yeah, maybe we're too giddy. We need to put a lid on the excitement for next time. Okay, well, we'll get to the result because I think we don't want to dwell on it too much. So, a couple of things with it. So we were the competition format was that the 2 best scores from our group would count towards
so 4
the
ball, better
points.
ball, 2 ball, yeah. 2 score.
And we got 70 points. Did we get
70? Yeah,
we got 70 points.
Yeah,
which placed us.
Second to last.
With the team that finished last got 69
Actually, no,
points.
I think there's 2 teams that finished behind us, but one of those teams only had 1 person in it. And they weren't even that far behind us.
Oh my goodness. That's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? Do you think does that mean we get invited back or we don't get invited back? Probably get invited back because we're nice easy pickings for anybody.
Yeah.
Now there was something you mentioned when we were having our pint afterwards with Paul and Matt.
Yeah.
That there was a rumour that the winner got like a crazy number of points.
Well, I mean, as I was walking through the car park, just kind of getting my shoes changed,
Yeah.
I just heard someone come across and say, "Oh, someone's in with 100 points or something."
It didn't seem feasible. That
It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
It's a lot of points.
Well,
However,
go on. Sorry.
so what? That turns out not to be true. So I think if you go on the website now, you can see. So I think there was joint winners in with 98 points. So I mean, not a million miles short.
I mean,
100 points.
I'm uninitiated in this sort of stuff. So for somebody who doesn't know how this kind of stuff works, I mean, what are we talking there then in terms of scoring?
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
what
you played to
individual-
your handicap is
Yeah.
36 points, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
you double that, you get to 72.
Yeah, and how? Yeah, 72. So
So
that would
72
be
points
your
would
handicap.
be both players playing to par, basically.
So then we're saying that the winning team then got another 26 points on top of that. So that over 18 holes means
Yeah, it means basically they
on-
each of the scoring players was basically 13 under par, basically for that round, which is.
Are we saying that's legit?
I mean, I
Is
think
it
whenever
fudged handicap?
whenever you play in any of these tournaments, there's always scores like that.
Fudged handicap.
I mean, yeah. Basically.
We can say it, Chris.
Basically, yeah. Of course it is. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way that you're scoring that well on every. Like, it's so consistently good. You're basically
Yeah.
scoring
And
two net birdies pretty much on every hole.
And I will say there's no sour grapes in this because we had no
Oh
expectations
no,
of our
we didn't
play.
give a shit. We didn't care whether
Nobody
we
cared.
won, lost, or we were just there to play golf.
I
Right,
just
and play
remember all
around
4
West
of us,
Lancs.
like, we were incredulous when we heard the number. We were like, 100 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this time we were pretty wounded because we thought we'd scored 68. And we're like, oh my God, that's terrible.
I mean,
But-
70 is still quite embarrassing.
Well, having said that, we got 70. And what, if playing to your handicap 2 golfers would be 72. So that's not.
Yeah,
Crazy.
But when you're only picking 2 out of the 4 scores, it basically means you can have a load of crap holes and you just take your best.
We were all equally terrible
Yeah,
on the round.
we were poor to a man, weren't we?
Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, that's our first experience of playing like an open competition. If anybody wants to give us a game, it's easy pickings. We just won't play for any money. But we will sum up our full day actually because we haven't played well, and we'll add a little caveat to our review here, I suppose.
Yeah.
That we felt we were struggling to unpick the quality of the course and how the overall review of the course is against us playing toilet.
And I think, and I've been thinking about this kind of since we finished, and I think when you go and play somewhere that's just like really beautiful and you go, oh, that's, a beautiful golf hole, or you're in beautiful surroundings and you play rubbish, it's a lot easier to unpick that. I think where you go and playing around somewhere that's a very kind of tactical, mechanical golf course, and you play badly, I think you almost missed the point of the course. And I think I said that to you afterwards. I think
Yeah.
the day after, we both came away, and it's fair to say, I think we both came away feeling
Shit.
no. I think that's too strong. I think we both came away feeling
Really
a little bit underwhelmed by a West Lancs to an extent, didn't
Yeah.
we? About
Yeah.
the course, which didn't feel great because it's a top 100 course. It's obviously it's held in high regard, right?
It is.
The final Open qualifying was there like 2 weeks before we were there, so it was in immaculate condition.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
They had an open sign up. That was the first
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
we saw when we turned around the corner. It was like, oh, they've got the open signs up. This is amazing.
Yeah, so this isn't like some Mickey Mouse golf course. This is a
Yeah.
proper, up there, top of the rankings links golf course. But I think sometimes I think ultimately we played so badly that we missed the point of a lot of because a lot of them are quite strategic in terms of there's a lot of dog legs in there. So you've got to kind of move the ball with the right shape, or you've got to hit the right shot to give yourself the right angle. I mean, we were just like 4 fairways across most of the time, so we probably didn't even see most of the holes.
Speak for yourself, Chris. I wasn't that errant off the tee. You, on the other hand. However, a testament to your recovery from there, though, because each time you went out wide, like you still weren't scoring disastrously on that hole.
I don't think my driving was too bad, actually. I think my driving was
It was your irons,
improved.
some of them off the tee.
Yeah, there was a couple of...
The driving was probably okay. But you didn't really get the driver out much.
No, I didn't get the driver out at all, I think, maybe once.
There's a couple of that, particularly the signature. I mean, we'll get to the signature hole later, but that was a rotter of a tee shot on that signature hole challenge.
Yeah.
And then
there was a few shank shots, wasn't there, with the long
we
irons.
took our tee shots on the signature. Well, let's do it. Let's cover the signature hole.
Okay.
It wasn't really even a challenge, was it, in the end? But
not really.
We
I mean, the only challenge was trying to film it, right? Because you stood up on the tee and you went 40 yards left of the fairway.
No, it was a fairway bunker, Chris. So technically, I was in the fairway. But
I knew that would come back to
it was
haunt
in
me
the
at some
confines of the hole, at least at that point.
Okay,
and then
yeah,
yours went
fine.
off to the right.
Yeah.
But then you said you got a really good lie, actually. So
Yeah, I mean, I
it
was
gave you a
so
chance
far
to
right
recover.
that I was basically on the next kind of fairway.
Nice bit of flat
Yeah.
turf to play from. But we filmed our tee shots and we just went, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to film the rest of this. How do we follow each other around now? We just can't do it.
Not without it taking us an hour to film.
Correct,
to finish
yeah.
the hole.
Yeah, so the signature hole, we'll do it now. It was the 13th hole. We both had a shot at it because it's a relatively tough hole. Because the green was pretty tricky on that one, wasn't it?
And I think that was fairly typical of a lot of the greens, wasn't it? Like, you've got to hit a really good shot into it because the runoffs are so severe. And I mean, ultimately, a lot of them are up on plateaus, aren't they? The greens,
yeah.
And you
Pretty
kind of
much
have
all
to
of
hit
them.
that, and there's no bailout. I don't think on a lot of those holes, which makes it really tough. And you're not often hitting particularly short irons in either.
No, I think you're not. You're usually a pretty
You're
sort of
hitting
long
like a
to the
7-iron or a 5-iron sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's some tricky holes in there.
Yeah, I mean, the green complexes, because the Cookie Jar Golf podcast did say that they are mostly all raised. It's like they make a big thing in the green complex.
Yeah, I think the first kind of handful, first sort of 4 or 5 holes were a bit flatter, weren't they? And then beyond that, I think, then you kind of get into the territory of it being, much more raised and
definitely
difficult approach shots.
Sort of stand proud over the rest of the terrain, don't they?
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of that's unique. I've not come across that so far, and even in the ones that we're going to play the rest of this year, that hasn't come across anywhere.
No, not consistently like that. No,
yeah, that's not. It. So there's definitely some uniqueness on there, and I think that there is a lot of thought clearly has gone into those green comp. I can't believe we're talking about nerding out on golf course architecture here, Chris. Because we can't talk about our golf; it was so bad. We have to do this. But there's thought gone into those green complexes. I can totally understand that.
Oh yeah,
see it.
Totally.
Whether I agree with that or not, I suppose is a slightly different matter. But again, that's separating bad golf from appreciating the golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But we saw so Chris won the signature hole challenge. Both got a stroke on it. He got 5. I got a 6. So
it's a fairly hollow victory though after the tee shot. To be honest,
it just felt awful, really, didn't it?
It didn't feel great.
It was a beautiful hole though to look at.
It was
high up,
gorgeous hole there.
Look
right
out
up on the raised tee box.
Yeah, you could see you could see the ships going by and the wind farm and all that kind of stuff. So it was a beautiful tee box, and that little stretch of holes, that back 9, when you get to kind of 11, 12, 13,
I think it's 12 onwards. So 12 is a beautiful par 3, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's the start of West Lancs proper for me. That's the bit that I enjoyed the most.
We liked that, didn't we? We liked that stretch.
Really liked
I think
that
we
little
engaged
stretch.
a bit more in the round.
I think
at
sort of
that
12
point.
through 16 was a really nice stretch for me. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely course of 2 halves.
Yeah, for sure. I think the front 9 is a lot of kind of as I said, there's a lot of dog legs, but it felt a lot of just like kind of left to right or right to left, kind of par 4 dog legs. It felt fairly
that
formulaic.
felt to me like there were a lot of dog legs on that golf course.
Yeah.
That, from my golfing, and my golfing is based around local clubs. We're not talking about salubrious club courses at all or anything like that, but we're talking about your local, paid 20, 30 quid for a round.
Yeah.
You get maybe 2-3 dog legs at most. It felt like there were a lot at West Lancs. So do you think that's deliberate in terms of being a test of golf?
Absolutely, and I think that's I think that's why you've got the final open qualifying going on there, because there is a real need to hit the right shot and the right shape shot to be in the right place to hit your next shot, and you kind of have to be in position to have any chance of going for those greens. Because if you're out of position, I mean, there's one, I think it's the 7th hole, which is a pretty short par 4. I hit a 5-wood out to the right into the rough. Had quite a nice lie. I've got 100 yards in.
I remember that one.
But because I'm coming from the wrong angle, the green's only 8-10 yards deep.
Yeah.
And beyond that, you've just got these massive drop-offs.
Yeah, so you got.
So I hit what I thought was a fairly good, reasonably safe shot, but actually got up to the green and it had managed to sneak its way off the back because it's such a small target that you're aiming for, because you're not coming from the right angle.
Yeah, okay.
I think So I think that's the real challenge there, is you have to be in position pretty much all the time. I think.
Yeah, there was another one as well where I think I'll bring this hole up for 2 reasons. Number one, because of what you were just saying there. So there is actually a legitimate reason to bring this up, but the other one is because he got mentioned a lot in the preview episode. But Paul hit a lovely 3 hybrid, and I drove him with my 5-iron. So if you're listening, Paul, then it was my 5-iron. It was on a pretty lazy 5-iron as well.
I mean, that feels like it's
a good moral victory.
Well, yeah, a good point to maybe talk about.
About pulverizing Paul in the side bet.
I think so, yeah, in the side bet. Let's talk about the side bet challenge.
So our side bet was we in the absence of Jim. Now Jim would be relishing this right now because we got a real flavour because we've played with Paul a bit more recently. Like, I know what he's like, and he's great. He's great value.
Yeah,
he's consistent. But I can definitely tell when he was a lot younger, he was definitely very competitive. Jim definitely corroborates that, but. He didn't know, but our side bet was that it was basically a 3-way match play, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was whoever beat him on most holes,
then
won. So beat is probably a kind word, really. It was an absolute annihilation. You were 4 up, weren't you?
4 up, 3-18.
So, in your face, Paul. So you're right for stealing the Nish Invitational trophy. Yeah, well done, Chris. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, that would have been terrible if we'd have lost that.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bring that hole up because... that was definitely one. So I'd hit my 5-iron exactly where I wanted between the 2 bunkers that I was aiming for, and it had ended up what you'd call the correct side of the fairway. So it opened the hole up, like I could see every bit of that green complex. There was a bit. I think you were a little bit short before the turn, dogleg, and then I think you actually landed it on the green, but because it had to go really high up and sort of stop dead, it just trickled off the edge.
Yeah.
And you just got no.
I mean, from there, you've got no shot.
You're at the mercy of the gods, aren't you, really?
The green's 8-10 feet above you.
Exactly right, yeah. So you really do have to position it well, and that means being in control of your golf ball, which means that's difficult. And we sort of wrote, I was like, I've got a tough course, but I've got it with a question mark on that because the way you play probably makes it tougher than it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could, if you do have control of where the ball goes.
But I mean, that's the links test, right?
Yeah,
You've got to be in control of it. If you're not in control of it, you're going to get punished, and that's exactly what happened.
I'll give you an example of links golf, ladies and gentlemen. I hit a 7-iron 215 yards, just to give you some context for that, just because it was a little bit lower than planned, and it just scooted on and didn't stop. But our day, I suppose, and we were talking about the course, and it's, again, I'll put toughness in inverted commas. I think you can go out there and still have, can have a good scoring round if you do have a plan. I think that course required. I mean,
you had a plan. You had a plan written down.
Just a shit plan.
You just executed it poorly.
You can have any plan you want, but you have to execute it, don't you? So
how did that work for you, the plan?
I liked so basically what I'd done, and I think I will do this again, because I did quite like it. So because I used my watch to log my scores and things like that, I don't really pay attention much to the par of the hole. I don't really take that in. Sometimes I even get to the green and go, is this a par 5 or a par 4? So I wrote myself a little list out, each hole, what my handicap par should be, And then, because I think what I've struggled with in a couple of courses is approaches into the green. Now, you have your yardage book and you look at that, and I suppose I could just buy that. You can look at it on your watch, but you don't really get a feel, I don't think, until you visualize it of what's actually going on the green.
Where
Where
you
not to
want to
go.
be.
Now, like I say, that relies on me putting the ball where I need to put it. However, I felt good knowing that I could just look at something really quickly, and it was like, all the danger is short. So you need to, going long is not safe, but it's okay to go long because there's not a bunker at the back.
Yeah.
So,
that's the whole
hidden,
Scottie Scheffler thing, right? So you aim for the
safe zones.
aim for the safe zones on the green. Yeah.
So that felt better. I think as a first, I need to do it again because as a first go on that course, it's clearly not worse because I've not scored well at all and not played very well. But I don't think that was that fault of that system. But it felt better knowing that I did have that system in place.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create more work for myself for the next few rounds and see how it goes. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see, I suppose. But yeah, the day sort of in general, look, we have mentioned this a couple of times, but we had classic standard almost now. Top 110 golf weather.
Yeah.
We actually left Stockport and it was chilly and overcast. And we were thinking, I've got a sweater gilet on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be a bit
I had
chilly.
to go and buy a hat in the pro shop because I've not brought a cap with me, and I've got a fairly balding head these days. So
yeah, we turn up. Obviously, you got your air conditioned car, haven't you? And it's cold in the car. So you're thinking it's just cold outside.
Well, we got out and we were in jumpers and trousers, and everyone else in there was in like shorts and t-shirts. Like, what's going on here? We're only like 50
hard
miles down the
scousers,
road.
you know. Yeah. Then we got out. It's like, oh my god, somebody's turned the furnace. Like we're in a furnace here. Like it was 15 degrees hot, wasn't it?
Baking. Yeah.
Absolutely boiling. We were at the point we were having lunch on the balcony, and I had to go inside because it was warm. I was like, I need to get in the air conditioning inside. So we got amazing weather, and the welcome from everybody there was wonderful. Really, really friendly. The pro was fantastic in the pro shop. The staff in the bar were amazing as well. Really looked after us, like a proper good Scouse welcome we got.
Yeah, absolutely.
At West Lancs. And then we sort of, I mean, we were there, 2.5 hours before our tea time. So we got time for a nice leisurely lunch.
Yeah.
My bacon brie cranberry sandwich was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite low key, wasn't it, in terms of the club? It's a fairly impressive building, but in terms of, and I think Matt said it. It's like, I think he said that's one of his favourite courses on that coastline, on that kind of Golden Coast, because the course does the talking. There's no kind of like, there's none of the kind of pompousness around the club. It's just
none of that.
It's just there to go, here you go, we're a golf club. You come here to play golf.
Yeah.
You go and enjoy the course, and it's all about the course. And there's none of the kind of the other stuff on top of that you get at some of the other kind of bigger clubs.
We've sort of been talking about club websites and the feel that you get from it.
Yeah,
and I've been getting a bit geeky about all of that. But West Lancs has a more traditional top-end golf course website. It does have that, which would immediately start pushing it down, thinking that that's then how the club is.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't.
No, it wasn't
Didn't
at all,
get that feeling at all. Like, and we've said this before about clubs. You walk in, you just get a vibe straight away, don't you?
And I suspect a lot of the members there are really good golfers. I suspect they're there for their golf and they're there for the course. And I suspect you got a lot of scratch and kind of like, young kids and stuff going on there playing good golf. I suspect a lot of the membership is made up of that.
Heavily laden trophy cabinet. So I think you're probably right there. Now once we'd obviously done all of that, we then took advantage of the practice facilities. So they've got an open air range. They've got a cracky little short green. And a massive practice green before you go out. Didn't really set us up for going out there because it was pretty flat, the practice green, and then you got out there and these little, the greens were interesting because there were subtle breaks everywhere. I thought I never got a pace of them, and that's quite rare for me. I struggled on the putting.
You did,
but I don't. That's not the. They were immaculate.
No, the putting surfaces. I mean, obviously,
they were like Ganton.
Open qualifying had been there a couple of weeks ago. They were slick and they were absolutely like carpets, weren't they? They were
Ganton-esque, the quality of those greens. They're probably the best we've putted on. Just didn't take.
I think not as quick as Ganton, but certainly is.
Yeah, I think Ganton was still better.
True.
Yeah. We sort of took advantage of all of those kind of facilities and stuff like that, and then obviously we headed over. And I didn't know what was going on. Never played in any of these like open comps or anything like that. So zero clue. And we rocked up and I'm like, right, we'll just sign in. He goes, yeah, what name is it? And we're off at 4:10 or whatever. And he said something, and it was like this conversation was happening in Greek, and I had no idea what was going on. It was you and the pro, and he was like, "So it's £10 for your twos, and then there's this, and you were like, oh, I'm buying this," and I was like, "Oh, I'm buying this," and then I was like, £10 for your twos? What? Like, paid for our golf, and then Chris was afterwards went, "I know that's going into the comp, that's the prize money sort of whatever." Or
for your twos comp,
yeah, for your twos comp. And I was like, right, great. So I just walked out and I went, "I'm glad you're here, Chris, because I have no idea what you guys have just spoken about." It's like some kind of code, secret golf code, like a handshake. It's like the Mason's handshake or something. But we then went out after catching up with Matt and Paul and discussing strategy. We did none of that, did we? Not at all. That's how seriously we were taking it. But we got to the first tee, and by this time, I'm already sweating buckets because I've got this sweater on, and then I sort of pull the sweater up, and I've got sweat patches everywhere. I was like, I'm committed now. I've got to stick with it. Can't do anything about it. So Brian, who was the starter, so we must name check Brian. He was fantastic because he just asked us straight out, "Have you ever played here before?" I'm like, "Well, Matt has, but we haven't." And he went, "Right, well, before Matt gets here."
Yeah. Here's like 7 or 8 key points of what you need to get round.
It was great, wasn't it? And he was even like, "Well, this hole you're coming up, this is the 8th, and like you won't be able to see the green, but there's a line, you pick that line, go for that one, trust it, all that kind of stuff." Great. And he was like, "You'll enjoy it, you'll have a great time," all this kind of stuff. And it's like, again, to somebody who's maybe played only a few top courses, starters can be a bit intimidating. Some of them are like old boys, aren't they? And you're like, "What are you doing on my course? Are you going to wreck it?" And you're worried about your tee shot. I didn't get that from Brian at all.
Oh, no.
His was like,
I think most starters tend to be probably golfers who probably can't play that much golf anymore, can't play as much golf as do, and then they just want to be part of it. They want to be on the tee chatting to golfers and kind of on the course.
This is going to be famous last words now, Chris, but I've gotten over first tee nerves. I've really got to the point where I don't give a shit what anybody thinks what happens on my first tee shot, right? So that's gone. The one time that we've been playing that I've felt a little bit under the pump on the first tee was Ganton. That old boy gave me old boy
vibes.
Vibes, definitely. That's like, because I think I took driver off, so I was like, "Listen, I want to take." Well,
you wouldn't have appreciated
taking a divot,
smashing 2 into the gorse.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't take an iron off that first tee. I was like, I don't want to wreck this tee box. But like Brian, it was almost like he was in our group, Brian.
Yeah, well, I did ask him if he'd come caddy for us, didn't he? But he wasn't interested.
He was very good. He was.
He had been out there for 10 hours already. I think.
Well, no, he'd done the whole day. He started at 8 in the morning or something. He was like out at 4 o'clock still. So yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. And then I think just kind of final thing on the club, we said there is definitely a back 9 we felt was a lot better than, well, no, maybe a lot might be strong, but it was definitely better.
It was more, there were more interesting holes, weren't
interesting features. And even when you did dog legs, they weren't like just a flat one. It was like you dip down first and then go back up. So
there's a couple of blind tee shots and that kind of stuff as well,
Yeah, quite a bit more interesting. Like that a little bit,
ultimately.
didn't we? Yeah. And then we were having a chat about just on our way back, and that was the sort of our difference in expectations of the course. And it was an interesting point that came up for me. And it wasn't anything we'd spoken about directly, but it was just how we were assessing the course. So we did both say that the course is great. It's a great golf course, and it's impeccably well manicured, impeccably well looked after, very highly regarded, and it is a proper challenge and test of your golf.
Absolutely, yeah. Which we failed miserably.
Which we massively failed on. The bunkering is becoming a thing on this podcast now, but I thought the bunkers were well placed, but they weren't like intimidating bunkers. There was nothing there that you're like, "Oh my God, this is so deep, I can't get out of the thing."
No.
But they're all small, which I found gave you a high probability you're going to have a bad stance.
So I think I went in 2 bunkers.
Me too.
One of them I couldn't even play out sideways because it had just gone in and just sat under the lip, so I couldn't even get my club to it. So I just had to, at least I just had to duff it into the bunker.
Just whack it as hard as you can to get it to go backwards almost.
To get it to fall into the bunker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first time I can ever remember. It took me 3 shots to get out of a bunker.
I've never seen you need anything more than 1 shot to get out of a bunker.
No, it's very unusual.
It never happens, yeah.
Very unusual.
Yeah.
And that was the first hole.
Oh, was it?
It was the first hole. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Great start.
Good start to the ground.
Yeah.
But like, I think it was a really good, tough but fair golf course.
Yeah.
I think my overall thoughts were that there's a lot of stuff that club, I don't use the club in the now general sense, is doing really well. atmosphere, vibe, welcome,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
practice
definitely.
facilities.
Yeah.
That
I could imagine. I can
helps with
definitely
that.
imagine being a member there.
100%.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could go
could
and
do
play
that.
there, couldn't you? For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms, for me, the thing that, this is going to sound really weird after what I've just said, but for me, then what let it down was that the course for me was, there was no highlights on that course. There was a great stretch of holes and they were nice, but I think there were 3 or 4 holes in isolation out of the 18 that didn't, like, I wouldn't nominate any holes from there for Dream 18. And there's not really anything massive. I didn't take many pictures. I think that tells you a lot.
Yeah. And
about
it's
what I was about with that course.
It's that age-old thing, isn't it? And I think like we differ in how we look at these courses. And often I'm there for the test and the challenge, and you're there for the scenery and the.
I'm there for the valet parking, Chris. That's what I'm there for.
Absolutely. But interestingly, we both came away from that one not underwhelmed by any means, but we didn't come away going, "Oh my god, that was incredible."
We've just done that classic British thing, Chris, where you go, I'm not going to say I was underwhelmed, but basically we're saying we're underwhelmed.
Were we?
I think we were underwhelmed in that I'll explain how I felt about the underwhelming thing, because that sounds like it's a criticism of the course, and it really isn't.
No, it's not. The course
and
is
I felt,
brilliant.
as we were doing our chat about it, I felt really harsh on West Lancs by sort of saying, I haven't got any highlights for it. I think it's a tough course, and there's this and this and this. And it's like, no, that as you said, it's missing the point of the golf course.
Yeah, I think so.
That is designed to test your golf and your golfing ability. You pass or fail that test. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah,
that's not the course's fault. That's you as a player.
Yeah, like I said to you, I think ultimately on the day we weren't good enough players to fully get to fully understand and
absorb the nuances of that golf course.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the phrase.
There we go.
We didn't absorb the nuances of that golf course, but I think, I wouldn't. I'm not rushing back to play West Lancs.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But
I'd quite like to go back and play it again, just better.
Do you want to take it on?
I wouldn't mind having another little go at it.
Yeah, there's only been 2 rounds really that you've. Silith and this one maybe that you've really watched and just gone. Awful. Actually, I really want another crack.
SNA, that was pretty bad as well.
Yeah, actually, you didn't.
That's 3 out of 10. That's 30%.
Ooh, I need to find out the frequency of this happening, Chris, because I can rig the competitions accordingly. Okay. So, but I think that's for me personally, as now getting our podcast hat on. I think it's good. If we both thought the same thing,
absolutely,
this becomes boring pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yin and yang of the top 100 podcast, aren't we?
We are. Yeah.
Who's the yin and who's the yang?
Let's not go there.
You're the Jin and I'm the...
I'm just thinking of the symbol and how it fits together. No, we don't want to do that. We're happily married. But yeah, I think it's a great, healthy debate, that. It really is.
Yeah.
Because...
And I think it's the one that's going to rumble on as well.
Of course it will.
Throughout all these courses.
Which is why we then adapted our own ratings, didn't we? We're not going to agree on this. So we can't say we're going to place these courses as a pair together. We have to almost do it separately. Maybe we can come with a blended...
By the time we get to the all 100 done, we're just going to have like a massive bunfight for what's going to be number 1? Or do you think number 1 will just be like head and shoulders above everything?
I don't think it will, because Jim's got long arms. He'll be able to keep us apart. But I think we'll get to the end, and I think we will have vastly different... I'm not going to say the top 10. I think the top 10, I'm going to guess is probably going to be relatively similar, because we've yet to hit the real big hitters, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of that, like you go to St Andrews.
Yeah, it's going to be special.
As much as there's the course and everything like that, but actually, everybody I've spoken to in Scotland is like, oh yeah, St Andrews, home of golf, whatever. But there are better courses. Like, great, but you can't ignore. Yeah, this is the home of golf.
You're playing St Andrews,
and you play St Andrews, and you're teeing off over the hotel. All that stuff. You can't ignore that.
Yeah, no, you
right?
can't.
But so I think those things are probably sitting. I think the interesting places for me are going to be that maybe 11 down to maybe 30.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, where our real preferences will come in. And I think it's going to be like a real flip there. Yeah,
I think you might be right.
Yeah, which would be fascinating.
Yeah,
that's it could be like an 8-episode review pod of our 100. Like, where do you score it? But wonderful. How wonderful is it that we hit a milestone? It's our 10th course.
Yeah.
Feels serious, feels grown up now, like we're into the meat of the challenge kind of thing. And it was like, it's really interesting how I think I'd love to go, and I should do it, go listen to our first reviews and how much probably our chat is evolving into a real appraisal of that golf course.
Chat.
Yeah. So sorry
It's
for
not what
boring
we're
you all.
about.
Yeah, no, we need to bring the banter back. Right, okay. Look, that's us done with with our Open.
Yeah.
We should talk about the Open,
which is just finished a couple of hours ago.
Not the British Open, as it's called sometimes in other parts of the world. It's the Open, the original one, where it all started, the granddaddy of them all. And when was the last time you didn't watch the full final round of the Open, Chris?
I don't know. Probably a little while ago, to be honest.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
It's a day in your sporting calendar.
Yeah, you'd normally set the day aside, wouldn't you, to be like, right, I'm going to watch the final day.
I didn't watch. I mean,
and I had a free day today, and I didn't watch it. I watched little snippets of it.
But I suspect the reasons might be slightly different.
Okay,
I think yours was from a golf perspective.
I mean, yeah, ultimately, there needs to be competition, right?
No,
I think to make it exciting, and it didn't feel like there was ever going to be any level of competition until that final day.
Scott Scheffler, the golf robot.
Yeah,
he isn't though. Isn't he? He's such a nice guy. He's a likable chap.
And do you know what? The bit that I did watch today was the presentation, and he just doesn't make you feel like he wants it, and all the stuff that he said beforehand and stuff. Like, I'm sure he does want it, but
they talked about that quite a lot on the coverage afterwards. Actually,
yeah, like it doesn't. Like, you don't go, oh, I'm so glad he won. Like, he doesn't give you that feeling at all. Like, he's the world number one, so he should win.
I'm glad he won for two reasons. Number one, he's a nice guy, and it's good that nice guys are doing all right.
And he appreciates his family and all that stuff, which is great.
But he's a bit like, meh. You know, I mean, we're brought up on a diet of Tiger Woods, which is like,
I mean, you need that bit. Like, he's just so consistent that it's a bit dull to watch, but isn't it, really? Because you want to see a mistake and a
unique swing and you know, footwork and all this kind of stuff, and you're like, that's great, that's good for all the hackers out there who've got a unique swing because we've never had any lessons and all this sort of stuff. But I'm not excited by him.
It's failed to warm to him properly, don't you?
Yeah,
and I think you appreciate him, and you appreciate how good is he? I mean,
amazing.
He has just got that ball on a string, and around links courses, like, I mean, he had his putting boots on, obviously, for the first time on a links course, and he just absolutely annihilated the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's why McIlroy's box office, isn't he? Because there's a bit of heart in his sleeve.
Yeah, and he's going to make some mistakes.
Feistiness.
And he's going to boom some 370-yard drives, 280-yard drives. And
do you know what we're going to find out? I was saying to Emma today. So she was like, oh, you're not watching the golf. I was like, I'm not really interested in it. I was like, nice. He's just said, you know, I'm married to my childhood sweetheart, been best friends since high school, whatever. And I was like, it's all a bit meh. I went, put in 15 years, we'll find out. Like we did with Tiger Woods, there was all sorts going on. You know?
Yeah, probably.
That's when everything will change again. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean,
at least Tiger was a bit like that in terms of he was kind of robotic in terms of like he would never, you know, he wasn't going around high fiving people and fist bumping people, but like you absolutely knew 100% that all he was out there was that he was out there to win, and he wanted to win every single tournament that he won. And you've got to respect that, haven't you? You've got to respect that. He's putting he's basically putting his entire life to one side to say, I am going to be the best golfer in the world.
This is it.
Whereas Scottie Scheffler's just got both somehow, which almost feels a bit unfair.
It's a bit unfair, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't put all that pressure on himself, and he just goes and pulverizes everyone at the Open.
Maybe that's what we need to
do. We talked a little bit before we came on the episode, and because we've just had the US Open and we've had the Open back to back, we had this one, which was a procession.
Can we just have a little, as we're doing the Top 100 podcast, can we just have a little word for Portrush, though? How good did Portrush look?
It looked absolutely frigging amazing.
I think that's probably the one that I'm most excited about playing.
Well, you said to me in the car, you said on the way over to West Lancs, you're like, Portrush is the reason that
this is the reason that basically that I started looking at all these Top 100 courses, because I went to Portrush and I just stood over above it. We drove over above it, and I just stopped, got out the car, and looked down on it from the road, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
No, that is physically looked down
beautiful.
on it, not metaphorically looked down. I looked down on Royal Portrush.
That'll be once I've played it and I can look down at it and go, "Well, shot 62."
It looks pretty easy on the TV, mate. So
you know, exactly.
What was it? Calamity Corner? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it looks stunning. Yeah, and even though these guys were absolutely ripping it up, it did just. That's not going to be us. But you just knew that was a challenge that they were all reveling in, and like the optics and the visuals of that golf course were just incredible.
Yeah,
That's why we
epic.
are doing this.
Yeah,
to get that, stand on a tee and go,
yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
And what is I don't even know what Portrush is ranked on our thing, but it's in the top 20, isn't it?
It's in the top 3 or 4, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, no, because it's sixth.
Is it 6th?
It's ranked 6th, so it's only really bettered by County Down, St Andrews, Muirfield,
Turnberry.
That's it, isn't it? Muirfield, Turnberry, County Down, St Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, what company for that golf course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So that'd be good.
Yeah.
Good part of an Irish trip.
Mm-hmm.
But any other thoughts on any of the days that we've had? Now, they probably did get it a bit easy. They didn't get the wind.
Yeah, exactly. They've not had a true links test, I think, because they've had
it lashed it down,
been,
but you can have rain, can't you? You can deal with that.
I mean, you've got a caddy. Dealing with rain is not like when you go out on your own and your clubs are piss wet through.
Sponsors who give them a glove for every shot, sort of thing. You know,
so the rain isn't that much of a. Ultimately, the rain helps them because it becomes more receptive, right? So I think
I played in lashing down rain last week. It was 2 days before we played West Lancs, and I've got like one white leather glove.
Everything's still wet when you play 2 days later.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it took 2 days for my shoes to dry out, and I'm just like, I've got to protect this one glove that I've got. Otherwise I'm playing without. They don't have any of that, do they? But I suppose, well, I mean, day 1 and 2 were kind of looked a bit close, didn't they? But even then, somebody would have a really good round.
It looked like it was building up to be an incredible, close contest because everyone was at like 400 or 500 par after the second round, wasn't there? There was 15, 20 players that were right up there, kind of right next to each other. So it looked like it was going to be a really exciting finish.
Yeah.
And then Saturday just kind of, yeah.
We got Scottie
kind of ruined the competition a bit. Didn't it?
Stop winning, Scottie Scheffler. We don't like it. And then I think I read a post on Instagram or something like that, and somebody said this might be the first year in decades that I'm not going to watch the final round, and that was when Brian Harman was leading. And he said, I've got nothing against Brian Harman, credit to you, whatever. He goes, but I cannot stand watching him over a golf ball with all them waggles that he does. Just like, I can't watch it, just cannot watch it. But there were sort of those same figures were like emerging, weren't they? And then suddenly Scottie just goes, nah, this is mine. I've got it. So
but I think I'd almost rather watch like an 18 handicapper go and play around a golf than someone that's just got so much control over a golf course that it just becomes dull. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be some kind of level of jeopardy.
You actually made a point that has been something that a lot of people are talking about in the world of golf right now.
Right.
And that is, what is more entertaining to golf fans right now? Is it tournament golf?
Yeah.
Or is it YouTube golf? Where you're watching players who are, high single handicap to maybe 18 handicappers. They're playing decent golf courses because they get invited on whatever.
Yeah.
And you're watching real play.
Yeah.
And
I think
people having a laugh.
It's interesting because ultimately what you want to see is you want to see that competitive, that combat, that element of two guys going at each other, and when that's not there, all of a sudden golf is pretty dull to watch at that level. Yeah, because you're just like, it's the middle of another green.
Exactly.
He's putting it in, or he's 2-putt, and that
you were watching those last 4 holes. There was no point where the commentators have got to do their best, haven't they, to try and feel like they're ramping it up and building excitement. But, they were just like, and so there's pressure on this. Like, there's not. He's 4 shots clear.
Yeah.
Like you say, he's got the ball on a string. Like, the worst that's going to happen is he might get 1 bogey.
Yeah. I mean, I think he made a double, didn't he? Today?
Oh, yeah, that was it.
He went bunker and made a double. But beyond that, and he just made a birdie on the next hole, and that was, back to...
I might have done a U-turn on my thoughts on the US Open with how they tricked up that golf course, because that did give us a tight finish, and give us some excitement.
Yeah,
and the players were bunched together, and you didn't know who was going to win, and JG Spawn came out on top.
But then that this could have equally happened around there, couldn't it? I don't know.
Fans, that's what you need. A load of fans right near the green, blowing the ball off. Just go, no, sorry, you might have hit the green, but it's off now. So, bit Bernie Ecclestone style sprinklers on the F1 track. So I mean, they were our thoughts on the Open. Really, a bit gutted, I suppose, because it's our showpiece. Yeah, it's our thing. It's our bit of history on stamp on golf. But it's not putting me off wanting to go Birkdale. Actually,
it was a shame, though, wasn't it? Because there was so many great players up there as well that it could have been such a great contest.
Could have been a great
quite pan out.
It's interesting that you take Scheffler's score out of it, and then there's a massive bunch of players, sort of 13 under, 12 under, 11 under,
Tell
10
you
under.
what, talking about taking scores out of it, word for Bryce DeChambeau, eh? He's 7
My
over after day
goodness.
one.
And then
he
comes
finished
back
was he
and-
9 or 10 under, I think he finished.
Yeah.
So actually, he'd have been
Unbelievable.
in the mix, right? He'd have been the leader pretty much.
And again, come back with all that sort of chat. He's somebody that divided opinion at the start. It's probably winning a lot of people back, and probably would have been a very, very popular winner if he'd have gone on and won that.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd won it after shooting 7 over on day one, that would have been
fair
pretty
play.
incredible.
Fair play to him. I'm really beginning to like the guy. Still don't like his golf swing, but I like the guy as a golfer. But wonderful. I think we're all done with that. So now, before we sign off, we've got a massive favour to ask you, our loyal listeners. We're going up for a People's Choice Award in the British Podcast Awards, and we would love to get nominated and take on some of the real big boys in our industry. So these awards are usually always won by kind of agency-run podcasts and podcasts that have massive marketing budgets. We do all of this ourselves. We do all of our editing, all of our production, all of our recording. It's all done in each of the kitchens in our spare time. And we love to fly the flag for independent podcasts. So if we could really trouble you for a nomination, it takes less than a minute to do. We will drop a link in the episode description. If you just follow through to that, you register your email address, make sure you tick to not receive the marketing communications because we don't want you to get spammed. And then you just vote, search top 110 for the podcast you want to vote for, pop your vote in, and it would be amazing if we could even get a nomination. That would be unbelievable. So we could just ask you for that small favour today, for 30 seconds of your time. We would absolutely love it, and let's hope we get a nomination. Next time on the Top 110 Golf Podcast, we'll be previewing Cruden Bay Golf Club, which we're playing as part of a little triple header Scottish trip.